Welcome, Veritas family. Thank you for joining us here at Give and Take. I'm Sherry Davis, and we are interviewing some of our instructors for our upcoming courses. And I am here joined today by Dr. Penny Edmonds. Hey, Penny, how are you?
Good, Sherry. How are you?
I'm doing well. We are so glad you were able to jump on today and tell us about your upcoming class. So, we're going to dive right in. Tell us who would benefit the most from actually, let's talk about what your class is,
Okay.
and then let's talk about who can benefit the most from it.
Well, my course is going to be Summer Term A, and it is EN 303 Christian Literature.
Okay,
Now, when I first think about who would benefit, I'm going to have to say I think every person
sure.
with a heartbeat. I'm a
I
little
think that's the
partial.
pat answer for every instructor. They just want
Exactly.
everyone to take the class. Yes.
So get that out of the way. But
Hmm.
in all seriousness, EN 303 can replace any literature course for most programs. So if you're a ministry student or you're an education student, you're going to be able to hop into the class, knock out your credits. And sometimes I think our ministry students have not really seen this literature course to be as beneficial for them as it can. It could be. So I would say this particularly for them. We study all Christian authors. So you're going to have built-in sermon illustrations. You're going to have built-in examples that you can bring into your devotionals, to your teaching. And you're going to know that a whole semester is focused upon really what you really enjoy.
That's good.
For the education students, we have a number of them who will teach some of these authors.
Mm.
And so, practically speaking, quite frankly, you could take some of these notes and walk right into your class and
Mm.
say, "Hey guys, let's look at John Milton." And so
Right.
there's a practical application for both, but I think it would be amiss to not realize, look, this is all Christian literature.
Yeah.
Not only are you knocking out credits, but it is literally like a weekly devotional time personally in growth when you take the class. It is for me.
So when you are talking about literature, sometimes people are going to wall up just from
Absolutely.
that. So what do you say to a student who is like, man, literature's just not my thing?
Well, sometimes I think when I've heard that, it's come out of people having read in the past and maybe not translated that to a quiz or a test.
Mm,
Therefore, they say, I don't like reading, I don't like literature.
got
And
it.
it's really not so much that they don't like reading, it's that it hasn't translated for them. It hasn't connected
Got it.
to the assessment of what's going on. And
Hmm.
so for them, which I've said many times to students, because I do kind of hear this all the time, is look, just give it a shot. Give
Yeah.
it a couple of weeks and just be open to the idea that what I'm doing now is far more than an academic exercise. This is broadening my horizons. This is giving me ways to grow myself. So
Yeah.
look at it with future perspective and not past perspective.
Yeah, and I think that's good and really interesting, especially for Christian literature, because as with any literature, you're delving into the lives of these authors as well, and you're going to be getting some contemporary information at the time that
Yes.
they were in their culture and the times that they were writing in, and I think that would be really interesting, especially in a Christian literature setting.
It is. I mean, literature as a whole, which always saddens me when I see people trying to get rid of the arts, like get rid of the gen ed side of things.
Sure.
There's where your broad-based, wide culture comes from. And
Sure.
so you can't live in a box where
Mhm.
you just read a piece of literature and you don't know what's happening politically or,
Yeah,
socially. What about emotionally or personally for the author? All of
sure.
that speaks so much more on the page and brings it to me, it brings it to life. It just jumps
Yeah.
off the page and says, hey, let this apply to you where you are right now.
Yeah, and I don't want to belabor this, but I think the idea of like sometimes we'll hear excerpts from different authors, and then when you put it in context, you study the life through, and then you realize, oh man, they wrote that during time of war or during time of some kind of cultural unrest. Then you
Yes.
realize, wow, that was really impactful. I mean, it's impactful to
Yes.
hear it in this day and age, but to find out what they actually went through
Yes.
to get to that point is
It can
really
be a great encouragement.
for
So, like
sure.
in this class, we'll study Thomas A. Kempis, John Milton, John Bunyan. I even put in hymnody. I wanted to study hymns. So we're
Oh,
going to look at Charles Wesley, C.S. Lewis, Anne Bradstreet, John
okay.
Donne, George Herbert, and my personal favorite, Alfred Lord Tennyson.
Okay. All right. So you got a really diverse group there. Okay, very good.
Hit a lot of different genres so that people could just see the breadth of Christian literature,
Yeah.
and see maybe what they never thought was there before.
Tell me what a student might expect as far as assignments in this class, because as you know, literature sometimes can be threatening or feel a
Oh,
little
sure.
bit overwhelming, and then you add what might be the assignments that they could tackle. So tell me about that.
Yeah, because that's real life. We're
Yeah,
not just
sure.
sitting around reading with a cup of coffee.
Yes, right.
For those who have taken EN 201 or EN 202, English Lit or American Lit, there are some great similarities. So if they come off the heels of that class, they can know that they've got their feet wet and they are going to know what to do. So, for example, on a weekly basis, they'll do application essays. They're going to be 5 paragraphs. And there's really no way to be content wrong in this way because it's, hey, share 3 ways in which one of the works you read this week can apply to your life today.
Got it.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm not going to grade that and say, no, Sherry, that can't apply
Yeah.
to your life that
No,
way.
it didn't.
No,
Yeah.
because that's not my business. So
Right.
there, really, those should be very straightforward. I
Good.
want to even maybe use the word easy points to earn
Hmm. Hmm.
because as long as you follow the 5 paragraph essay structure and you do the word count, it's just a practical way to almost journal with structure what
Yeah.
you're learning each week. We'll have one paper, which is exactly like the other sophomore lit classes, 5 to 7 pages, and a student can just choose any author we're studying and prove that person's importance to Christian lit.
Okay.
Everyone's doing the same focus,
Okay.
and they'll use their literature and do some outside research and prove that. The midterm, I really like. I choose 3 authors for the midterm and have the students tell me, okay, how did these authors use their works, their genre, to teach and delight the reader? Because that's the whole point. That's what I want. That creates an appreciation of literature right there.
Got
So
it.
I tell them what the genre is so nobody gets it wrong. Okay. So
Hmm.
everybody knows what the genre is.
Right.
But how did, for example, John Milton, how did he use the epic to
Sure.
teach his readers? How did he use the epic to really delight them with the beauty of the language, the way that he crafted it? So
Yeah.
for every author, it's tell me the genre, tell me how he used it to teach, tell me how he used it to please.
Okay. Yeah,
And then
very
the
good.
the final is probably my favorite. They
You
choose,
may be the only one saying that. The final is your favorite, right?
I know, right? Who says that?
Yeah.
But the students can look back over the whole semester and pick one theme that they want to do, and they're going to put together a 12 to 15-minute devotional. And to bring in the literature, they'll choose any 5 authors and pull some quotations and examples from those authors as support to
Nice.
build out, to flesh out their devotional. There
Okay.
have actually been students who have used this in their churches and in their
Oh,
schools
nice.
because it provides a perfect devotional setting.
Mm-hmm.
And it meets what I want, which is make it practical, give you a greater appreciation for how this can be used on a daily basis, and you learn more about Christian literature. I mean, it really comes to be a win-win.
Yeah.
And for those maybe being nervous about, oh my word, she's going to have us record ourselves.
Yeah.
I do that simply because I want to hear it.
Sure.
I want to hear the delivery and see my students in a way
Yeah.
I don't get to see them. So
Right.
it's not so much like it's a speech presentation.
Mhm.
They'll turn in the oral work, and then I love to push play and sit back and just watch
Right.
and be
Yeah, and it
proud, like
gives
a
you
proud mama.
and you get to be proud and you get
Yep,
to see their heart. Sometimes it comes through, visually different than will come through on a paper.
it
So
does.
that's a really
And they
important
get
part.
very passionate about it.
Sure, of
You can
course.
tell that those who say, I'm not used to being in front of a camera, evidently get over it pretty fast.
They do fine. That's
Because it's
good.
very enjoyable.
That's good. Well, tell us, so you already touched on this a little bit, but tell us what you would tell a student who's on the fence. Like, I don't know if I can do this. You've already touched on this a little bit, but
I mean, honestly, regardless of hesitation, I would say do not sleep on the opportunity.
it's good.
You are at a Christian college. You have the opportunity to knock out 3 credits with an elective, so you can check the box and do the academic thing.
Mhm.
But you can also look at it as, look, I can grow myself I mean,
Yeah,
who can lose on growing themselves in studying Christian literature?
that's a good point. That's a really good point.
And so it's not like you say, well, I'm never going to use that again. No
Hmm.
one's going to say that about this class.
Right.
I,
Good.
I mentioned earlier that Tennyson is my favorite, and you hit on one of the reasons why. First of all, I love his writing. He's a wordsmith, he's a craftsman.
Mhm.
He is so much my favorite. It's
Okay.
just probably annoying to students in my class.
Yeah.
Um, but one of the reasons why is we study in memoriam in this class. And during the time of in memoriam, Tennyson had great personal loss.
Mhm.
He had struggles both with his family and in his professional life. Evolutionary thought was bombarding Victorian England. They're
Mm,
losing their faith, they're struggling. And yet in this work, I mean, who can't identify with moments of struggle, cultural pressure?
sure.
All of us can't. But then he starts this work, Strong Son of God. And every
Mm-hmm.
time I read that work, I'm like, you know what? Perspective,
Right.
perspective. So, yes, it's an academic assignment, but at the same time, when have I not read it and needed to be reminded? Put everything in perspective and remember who's who.
It's good.
Remember what's what.
That's
And so,
right.
to me, do not sleep on it. There is no loss here.
Sure.
Now, it is 8 weeks. So, I think in fairness, people need to know. I mean, you're going to be moving.
Yeah, you're gonna be
You
reading
know,
some things.
right, you're going to be reading, but the reading is all balanced. There's nothing excessive whatsoever. I
Good.
think it's just a very enjoyable way to go into the summer and really be spiritually refreshed and academically successful.
That's perfect. That is excellent. So if you are watching this and you are interested in jumping into Christian literature, be sure to check in with your advisor, give us a call, let us know how we can help you. We would love to help you, and we know Dr. Edmonds would love to have you in her class.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you guys. Thank you for watching, and we hope to see you in Christian literature.
Absolutely.